At the time of Tekken's inception, Jin Kazama as a character didn't even exist, but ever since his introduction in Tekken 3, he has become not only one of the series' most pivotal characters, but even its primary protagonist. After having taken a bit of a backseat in Tekken 7, Jin is once again set to take the hot seat as Tekken 8's main man, and ahead of the fighter's imminent launch, here we're going to go over everything that you should know about Jin's story and his history. Jin is, of course, the son of Kazuya Mishima, Tekken's main antagonist, and Jin Kazama, who raised him alone owing to Kazuya being greatly busy wreaking all sorts of havoc thanks to his devil gene. Though Jin himself inherited his father's devil gene as well, he spends the first 15 years of his life with his mother in a remote location in Yokoshima, largely managing to stay away from the chaos of the outside world. That, however, changes when Ogre, a brute of a fighter who destroys their home and seems to kill Jun, arrives. Following his mother's apparent death, Jin heads out to find his grandfather, Heihachi Mishima, having been told to do so by Jun before she died, and spends the next 4 years training with him in the style of Mishima-style karate. Eventually, when a new King of Iron Fist tournament begins, Jin, who has become a capable fighter by this point, decides to enter, hoping to fight and kill Ogre in order to avenge his mother's death. And though that's something that Jin succeeds in doing, things don't go exactly as planned. As the tournament ends, he's betrayed by Heihachi, whose private military force known as the Tekken Force attacks him, before Heihachi himself shoots him in the head, killing him. Well, almost. The Devil Gene in Jin activates at this point, and he awakens as Devil Jin, attacks the Tekken Force and his grandfather, and flees. In Tekken 4, following Heihachi's betrayal, Jin has gone into hiding and living in Brisbane. Now completely disenchanted with his family and essentially the entire Mishima bloodline, Jin has unlearned the Mishima techniques of fighting to adopt a more traditional form of karate. However, when he hears that another kind of Iron Fist tournament has been called by his grandfather, driven by his burning desire to destroy the Mishima bloodline, Jin comes out of hiding to enter the tournament. Later on, though, he's set to fight his father, Kazuya, in the tournament's 7th round. Heihachi ensures that things don't happen quite as planned. Before the fight, Jin is kidnapped by Heihachi, and when he wakes up, he finds that Kazuya, controlled by Devil, is trying to draw Jin's Devil Gene out so he can assimilate it with his own and gain Devil's full powers. Kazuya fails, however, and Jin manages to break free of his chains, following which he is able to defeat both, his father as well as Heihachi, who is also trying to draw the Devil Gene from Jin for his own purposes. Before he can land the killing blow, however, prompted by his memories of his mother, Jin lets Kazuya and Heihachi live before fleeing from the scene. In doing so, however, Jin accidentally causes the awakening of Jinpachi Mishima, who had been lying dormant for years after being possessed by an evil entity, and who serves as the primary antagonist in Tekken 5. In Heihachi's temporary absence, Jinpachi takes over the Mishima Zaibatsu and arranges another King of the Iron Fist tournament. Jin, who has by this point started losing control of the Devil Gene in him, is desperate to find a solution, and as a result enters the tournament. As the tournament ends, Jin is able to defeat and kill Jinpachi, which, as it turns out, was exactly what he wanted, so that he wouldn't remain alive long enough for the evil entity possessing him to take full control of him. Jin takes control of the Mishima Zaibatsu, though he doesn't make much progress with learning how to control the Devil Gene. Things only go from bad to worse here because as Tekken 6 kicks off, Jin begins making some questionable decisions with disastrous consequences. He begins hearing voices in his head from an ancient demon that's locked away in the desert and the progenitor of the Devil Gene, who wants him to fill the world with as much negative energy as possible. Jin's goal, of course, is to put a stop to the demon, though he does go about doing so in the most misguided way possible. He decides that the best course of action will be to give the demon what he wants, following which Jin intends to kill the demon while also getting rid of the Devil Gene. As part of his overarching plan, he declares the Mishima Zaibatsu an independent superpower and begins attacking nations all over the world, which sparks a catastrophic global war, with Kazuya Mishima and his G Corporation unsurprisingly emerging as the Zaibatsu's chief enemies. Ultimately, however, with the help of Lars Alexandersson, the leader of a rebel group that broke off from the now Tekken force, Jin is able to find and destroy the demon. Not all is well as Tekken 6 ends. However, not only is the world still being torn apart with widespread conflict, it turns out Jin has also failed to rid himself of the devil gene. From here, we finally come to the events of Tekken 7, where Jin ends up taking a bit of a backseat. His disappearances cause upheaval within the ranks of the Mishima Zaibatsu, which Heihachi uses to his advantage to take control of it once again. Jin spends much of Tekken 7 in a comatose state, recovering from his fighting and from the growing influence of the devil gene within him. When he awakens, he learns that Heihachi is dead, killed by Kazuya, who in spite of his victory is continuing his war on the world. As Tekken 7 ends, Jin agrees to help Lars in killing Kazuya and destroying the Mishima bloodline once and for all. Tekken 8 will bring Jin back into the driving seat, and we'll see him teaming up with Lars Alexandersson to take on G Corporation and Kazuya once again. From his ongoing conflict with his father to his continued attempts to get rid of the devil gene, there's plenty of loose ends that Jin is going to want to wrap up over the course of the upcoming sequel's events. Whether or not he will actually succeed in doing any of that this time around remains to be seen, but thankfully we won't have to wait too long to get the answers to our questions.
Jin Kazama no kobushi wa.
Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.